A lot of you, you're so flooded by so much crap out there, by, oh, what's happening with Trump? What's happening with this? What's happening with that? Oh, Elon this. Like, man, do you understand what world you're living in right now? Forget about that economy, because you have no control over any of that stuff.
This is Secrets for Success.
Welcome to the Secrets for Success podcast. I'm your host, Greg Todd. Thank you, as always, for joining me. Today's episode, we're going to call the assured perspective, the positive perspective. I really think that this is something that I cannot teach people on. I do think it is so important in order to survive and thrive in entrepreneurship. I've been reading this book called The Obstacle is the Way that one of my clients gave me. And this morning, I was reading a portion of the book that talked about, some of the characteristics of entrepreneurs that are able to fight through and go through the obstacles and not allow the obstacles to overtake them. And so it said like four things that true entrepreneurs are able to do. Number one is an entrepreneur is never wedded to an option. They're never like, okay, this is the only way, right? They're willing to pivot. They're willing to adapt. Number two, it says an entrepreneur is never afraid to lose a little investment. Okay. Whether that investment is time, that investment's money, that is, I'm investing in people. Like, I'm okay. I know that I might invest in something. I might invest in a person. I might invest in an idea, and it might not always work out, and I'm okay moving on. Okay. Number three is an entrepreneur is never too bitter or embarrassed, right? Because if you're super bitter because you invested in a person or a thing or whatever, an opportunity, and then that person didn't do what it is that you thought they were going to do for you, like, how to let go of the bitterness, right? And then if you really think about it, like entrepreneurs that, like, they're okay. They're just not embarrassed that they have to show up perfect, that everything has to be perfect, that they have to position themselves as a know-it-all, right? Like, they're okay with letting that go, right? And then the last one was an entrepreneur is never out of the game for too long. I was like, yeah, that really is true. And I'm thinking even for myself. I've been doing this. I just talked about this in my staff meeting. This is my 21st year. I'm going my 21st year of being an entrepreneur. And of that time, it's really only been about 3 months that I've been out of the game. Just think about that. It's 12 months in a year. I've been at this for 21 years, like 300 plus months. And like 1% of the last 20 years, I paused. Besides that, I've been in the game. You just don't stay out of the game for very long. And that's what we do as entrepreneurs. That's part of our identity. And I was reading that. I was thinking there's another thing that I think successful entrepreneurs do, and that's they have the assured perspective. They have a positive perspective, and they understand how to celebrate like all the wins, all the small wins. The big wins, yes. The small wins, even more important. And they understand seasons. And they understand that when you get started, you're in a season of winter. Like, nothing's working, right? Nothing works because, well, you're getting started, and it takes time. And then over time, as things work, like, you just have an assured perspective in all the different seasons, right? From winter to spring to summer to fall, when you have the harvest, you just have that perspective. Okay, so why am I even saying all this? Well, this past weekend, a former client, I was on Instagram and I saw a former client of mine. Haven't worked with this person maybe in about 2 years, but this person started about 2.5 years ago. And the reason, I worked with this person probably for about 6 months. And when this person started with me, and I'm not going to say the name, okay, we're not going to do that, all right, because I have mad love for this person, but it was about a 6-month time that this person was in my life. And this person really wanted to, said they had a massive passion for this thing that they were doing. And totally in a completely different field. And so anyways, I said, yeah, I think you can do it. And they did it. And they actually got off to a pretty amazing start. Like sometimes it takes my clients a year and a half to actually get their first customer when you're just getting started. Some people faster, but online, it usually takes a little bit longer. There's a lot of ramp up time, but then it explodes after. Well, this person was able to get going pretty darn fast. Probably of the 5,000 customers that I've had over my 10 years, I would put this person in the top 5% with regards to speed of getting off the ground, getting customers, getting people to come into, their offerings. And anyways, I say all that because as I think of just seeing this person, I don't want to come down on anybody, but one thing I will say, and I was sharing this with the team, I was like, I never saw this person celebrate anything. Like celebrate, like, oh my gosh, I got my first client. Oh my gosh, I got this. And those things that I just said to you from that book, The Obstacle is the Way, I think all those things are important. I think it is important not to get so wedded to any option or idea. I think it's really important to stay in the game. I do think it's very important not to get too bitter or embarrassed. And I think it's important to not be afraid to lose a little on any investment. I think those are important, but man, I want to tell you guys, for me, I truly don't think I'm any better than you. But here's one thing I can tell you that I have done and I continue to do. And we just talked about this in our staff meeting, is that I celebrate everything, man. I celebrate everything. When I got started, many of you know that I was serving people and I didn't have any intentions of turning this into a paid thing. So I was serving people and just like, look, man, I can help people out. Why not? Like, this field has given me so much. It's blessed my life. It's made so many of my family's dreams come true, but that was a lot of hard work. But even in those early days, I think most people wouldn't have made it because they don't celebrate nothing. When I got my first client, I celebrated like crazy. When I had 1-2 clients for the whole day and I could barely pay my bills, I was having fun and I celebrated. Like, we celebrated everything. And even after becoming a millionaire in traditional brick and mortar physical therapy, when I started this business, we celebrated everything. It took us 1 year and 2 months in order to get our first client. But let me tell you something, we were celebrating. I had 3 full-time VAs. And okay, I might not have had any clients, but I was celebrating when we sent out emails. I was celebrating every single time somebody opted in. If I got an opt-in, okay, I wasn't getting money, but I got an opt-in, we were celebrating. When we screwed up, we celebrated. You can ask Louise Sandoval. If you want to follow her on Instagram, she was my VA, my project manager VA, and she'll tell you, we celebrated everything. Everything. I would shout her out on Instagram or on Facebook is where I started. But we celebrated everything. Like, we celebrated all the things. And they were not money-based. It's like doing something brand new for the first time, we celebrated. If I got a course, I would say, Luis, you go through the course, I go through the course, then we teach each other, we celebrated. When somebody would opt in, we celebrated. When we would get a troll and we get somebody that would say nasty things, and sometimes people would say racial slurs at me, we celebrated that we were getting attention. We celebrated everything. Everything. And I just don't feel like a lot of people have the assured perspective. And maybe, I don't know, like, I'm just even thinking this morning I did a Facebook Live. The first few minutes of the Facebook Live had 2 people on. I was so grateful. It ended up being, I think, 5 live that came on, but I'm like, 2 people? This is amazing. Because I still remember those times where I would go into the clinic at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. and I would have a patient that's struggling and needed my energy. And I would give all my energy to that individual. And that was one person. And that's the most I could help, just that one person. And then that person would leave, that person would feel better, and they'd be encouraged and whatnot, and then they'd go. And then the next person come in, they're low or they're down or whatever. And I would have to like encourage that person. And I feel like I'm able to have the assured perspective because I remember that there was once upon a time that no matter what I said, no matter what I did, it was only going to help one person. And the fact that this morning 2 people were on, oh my gosh, I'm leveraged. This is amazing. Guys, it's the assured perspective. And again, I don't want to kick anybody when they're down. But I just feel like a lot of you just don't have that. I don't know if I can teach that. I don't know what, that's just like being grateful of like how amazing it is that we have this opportunity. And we live in a time where literally we can have assistants like these AI assistants that can help us. We have these phones where I'm literally doing this right now on an iPhone. Okay. I mean, I have cameras in my studio and I don't even need to do it on the cameras anymore. Today, the iPhones are so good that this one's a $3,000 camera. That's a $5,000 camera. That's a $7,000 camera. And my iPhone basically can do this better or as good as those cameras. And I can have this out to you all, whether you're listening in India or you're listening in Australia or you're just down the road in Tampa or like, this is crazy. It's a perspective of realizing what an amazing opportunity we have today. I just think that that's a part that is missing from so many people. They get a win, they're still not grateful. They make their first $1,000, they're not grateful. It's like about time. Like, what? What? This business, Smart Success Healthcare today, has probably brought in collectively since we started, probably around 15. I mean, I don't even know what the numbers are, $15-20 million, something like that. Since Brittany came on in 2019 is when she started with me. Middle of 2019. It was after my live event. I think we've probably made over 10 million since then. Let me tell you something. This weekend, we had one person buy a $3 audiobook from us. And I remember seeing it and I was just like, oh, that's so cool. It's like a brand new customer. Like, oh, that's so cool. And I'm like thinking throughout the weekend, like, man, I hope this person's joined this, da-da-da-da-da. And just a while ago in our staff meeting, Brittany said, hey, we got a new person that came in on Saturday, da-da-da-da-da. And, I was like, yeah, and we both knew the person's name. And this person, like, you're probably listening to the podcast right now. Yeah, we know you. And we're so excited that you come into our world. But guys, whether we've made 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, I still value every single customer that comes into our world. I don't take it for granted. Anyone that is willing to listen to this podcast, we value you so much. Guys, that is something I cannot teach. I can't teach gratitude. I can't teach having an assured perspective. I can't teach that part. And I truly believe that if you can't have that, I don't think you can last in entrepreneurship because there's too many ups and downs. There's too much. I have to give so much first before anybody's going to ever give me anything back. And there's no guarantee that anybody's going to give you anything back in a certain time frame that works for you. It doesn't work like that. It's really in your best interest to have an assured perspective, to not get bitter when you do invest in people or things and it doesn't work out exactly the way you want it to work out, to not get embarrassed when you do something and other people might say, oh, that was stupid. No, and not to be wedded to any particular idea, and to have an assured perspective. I just think that's really important, y'all. I think sometimes we just have to remind ourselves of what amazing opportunity we have right now. A lot of you, you're so flooded by so much crap out there, by, oh, what's happening with Trump? What's happening with this? What's happening with that? Oh, Elon this. Man, do you understand what world you're living in right now? Forget about that economy because you have no control over any of that stuff. The things that you have control over, do you realize that you've never had a better opportunity to win than today? You do realize that today it's actually rewarding the little guy. It's actually rewarding the little gal. That's what we have today. Man, y'all have the assured perspective. Be grateful, be thankful for what we have in front of us. There's nothing like it. There's never been anything like what we have today to where anyone really can win. But if you don't have that perspective and have that gratitude, then I don't know, it doesn't even matter. You're going to be miserable regardless. You can be miserable when you're not winning. You can be miserable when you're winning because you're not going to realize you're winning when you're winning. Man. Anyways, that's all I got for today. I hope you guys do a little reflection from this episode and really ask yourself, man, do I have that perspective? Like, am I truly making the most out of it? Now, here's one other thing I'll say before I end this. I'll say that the most attractive characteristic that any of y'all can have right now, if you want to be able to start to win friends and influence people, is start to have a gratitude, a grateful posture about you. There is nothing worse than being around entitled people that think that they are owed everything and just act a damn fool. It is there is nothing more unattractive than that. Be grateful. Have a grateful posture that you're just in an amazing time, that the people that you're around are blessings, that every single situation is either a current blessing or will be a future blessing. If you take that posture, man, so many people are going to be so attracted to you. So it's in your best interest to do that. All right. Love you guys. Till next time.